All of our seniors, yes.
Okay, I now call this meeting to order of the York County School Board, our regular meeting for January the 28th, 2019. And I hope everybody had a great week. We're coming to a close of January and starting February here soon in a few days. So I'd now like to ask our pledge leader to step forward, Sophia Toth. She's a fifth grader student at Bethel Manor Elementary School. I'll read some information about her. So Sophia is the president of Bethel Manor's Student Council Association, and she's also a member of Bethel Manor Safety Patrol. She arrives to school early each morning to perform her duties. Sophia is dedicated to her academics and hopes to someday be a baker so that others can share in her passion and creativity of sweets. She's a friend in all of her classes and makes our room brighter each day. Sophia's favorite hobby is taking care of her cockatiel Sonny and teaching him to play peekaboo. So if you please stand while Sophia leads us in our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
So now we're going to move into our awards and recognition, and just as a reminder, during the break, there'll be an opportunity to take some pictures up at the front, so if you don't get any, while we're proceeding through the awards, there'll be plenty of opportunity when we take the break to do that. So we're going to start with our seniors of the month, and the following students are being recognized for their achievements. And first, we have Bruton High School, and that's Ms. Haywood.
Thank you very much. Bruton High School is proud to recognize Jonah Hammond. Did I say that correctly? Please, Jonah, please stand. Who is with you this evening? Mom, Dad, anybody with you? Everybody stand.
My brother as well.
Fantastic, thank you. And let me share some information with you about Jonah. Bruton High School salutes the student leadership and dedication of senior Jonah Hammond. Jonah is a creative and empathetic leader who is determined to make a positive difference at Bruton. He uses his leadership position to influence others and therefore is a change agent. Jonah has worked to improve student government and encourage student voice for the class of 2019 by serving as president for 2 years. While leading his class, Jonah has worked to inspire other students to embrace their voice and use their influence to provide input in areas of local government and school procedures. He has expanded this active leadership by leading mental health awareness projects, as well as clothing and food drives sponsored by Students Against Destructive Decisions. He also is active in theater arts at the School of the Arts, a member of the golf team, SCA, International Thespian Society, and Spanish Honor Society. Jonah volunteers in the community, and enjoys helping students at his church. He has been accepted in the Honors College at George Mason University and is also interested in attending Longwood University or the University of Virginia to major in political science or theater. Please join me in congratulating Jonah as the Bruton Senior of the Month for January. Congratulations.
Great job, thank you. Next, we have Grafton High School and Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With Nathan Haas and Mom Teresa and Neil. Any family members? Okay, good. It is a great pleasure that Grafton High School recognizes Nathan Haas as January's Senior of the Month. Nathan is a student who truly serves as a role model for all students and has a passion for serving as a leader both within the school and the community. Nathan knows the value of helping his community and has spent many hours giving back to his community through his work in Boy Scouts and his church. Nathan will be earning his Eagle Scout this year and chose to help beautify Grafton High School by building benches around our anchor loop. Nathan has served in many leadership capacities during his time in the Boy Scouts. He has served as scribe, patrol leader, assistant senior patrol leader, and bugler. At church, Nathan gives his time at youth leadership team where he leads the prayer and worship committee and serves as a retreat leader. He has participated in the Catholic Heart Work Camp, where they help the community by doing yard work, housework, and working with children. He is active at Grafton High School, where he is a part of the Science Honor Society, the French Honor Society, National Honor Society, served in the band all 4 years, is a founding member of the Special Olympics Club, and participates in both indoor track and soccer. He has had the honor of playing on the Grafton varsity soccer team since his 8th grade year, and plays club soccer and leads his team as the captain. Nathan balances his activities with his academics. Over the past 4 years, he has taken 14 advanced and AP courses and has maintained a 4.49 GPA. He hopes to attend Cornell University, where he'd like to study biology, pre-med, and then go to medical school and specialize in neuroscience and orthopedics. Nathan's favorite memory while at Grafton High School was serving as the MC for the pep rally this year. If Nathan had to pass along advice to his fellow Clippers, he would tell them, if at first you don't succeed, try again, and that it is always important to help others and get through things together. We are so pleased to name Nathan Haas as Grafton's December Senior of the Month. Congratulations.
Great job. So next we have the Student Senior of the Month from Tabb High School, Dr. George.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Richardson. It's my pleasure this evening to introduce the Senior of the Month from Tabb High School, Janae Saylor. And did I pronounce that correctly? Great. And I believe you got your folks with you? It's wonderful. Welcome. Pardon me? And your little brother. There you go.
This is a night for brothers.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Janae Saylor is an outstanding student who has maintained a GPA of 4.2. She is very active as a member of the National Honor Society, DECA, DECA, African American History Club, Unified Tigers, and Beta Club, where she has served as president. Janae is also a letter winner in 3 varsity sports, volleyball, basketball, and track. Janae was a member of the volleyball team that recently finished as runner-up in the 3A state championship, and she is currently a captain of the basketball team. Earlier this month, Janae was recognized at the 30th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. ACT-SO Luncheon Reception as the African American senior at Tabb High School with the highest GPA in her class. Janae is a model of outstanding effort in the classroom and throughout the school. She is a popular student, as illustrated by her selection as the homecoming queen this year. However, Janae is humble and remains more focused on the positive impact her actions have on others. Throughout her packed schedule and many activities, Janae has been a terrific representative for Tabb High School, who cares deeply for her school and her community. She's an outstanding model of personal responsibility, sportsmanship, and high achievement. We are extremely proud to present Janae Saylor as Tabb High School Senior of the Month. Congratulations.
Congratulations. So our next Senior of the Month comes from York High School, Mr. Medford.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. And if Allison and Peter will be standing up, please. And I believe your mom and dad, little brother.
No little brother.
Oh, okay. All righty. Dedicated, driven, conscientious are the first words that come to mind when asked to describe Allison. Allison is an international baccalaureate student and has excelled in one of our most rigorous programs. Her hard work has led to her acceptance into National Honor Society, U Alpha Theta, the Science National Honor Society, and Spanish Honor Society. She was also selected from her junior class to serve as the graduation marshal in the commencement exercises for the class of 2018. Allison is passionate about helping her community and always looking for opportunities to give back. She has been an active volunteer with the Riverside Junior Volunteer Program for the past 3 summers. Allison has also volunteered with Safety Town and dedicated many hours to helping the York Middle School field hockey team with tryouts and tournaments. On top of her academic and community commitments, Allison enjoys being involved in school-related activities. She's been an important member of the Model United Nations, the Red Cross Club, the Asian American Club. This year, she serves as the secretary of the Key Club and assists with planning community service projects. She also serves as president of the Operation Smile Club, where she plans fundraisers and service projects. Allison, congratulations on being accepted as the January Senior of the Month. We're proud to have you as part of the Falcon family. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations to all of our seniors of the month, and I'm going to give Dr. Shandor a minute to get down front, and we're going to move into our Student Service Awards. And the first one is Dr. George, you have.
Let me pull this up, sorry. Okay. Yes, if I could have Jayla Pettiford and Dr. David Wrights come forward. Jayla Pettiford is a hardworking young lady, dedicated to making her class and school a better place. She volunteers for Bethel Manor's Safety Patrol, arriving early at school each morning to complete her duties. Jayla is known to greet every student passing by and ensures their safety as they make their way to class. She is also a student helper at her morning care program, working with the younger students and helping tidy up at dismissal. Jada is a member of our school's Great Computer Challenge team. She dedicates many hours during and after school, working diligently as a teammate to her peers. In class, Jayla is a kind friend to every student in our room. She makes sure all of her classmates have something to play with at recess, a friend to chat with at lunch, and a willing partner during class time. Jayla's father is currently deployed, so she helps around the house every day, helping with chores and taking care of her younger siblings. She makes sure they get to and from school safely, helps with their homework, and plays with them every evening. Jayla hopes to one day become a veterinarian so she can help animals be healthy and have good lives. Jayla, congratulations. Thank you for all you do.
So, Mr. Medford, you have the next Student Service Award.
I do, and this student's from York River Academy, Danielle Weber. If you'll come up, please, with Mr. Cross, your principal. Danielle Weber is a junior at York River Academy and is the staff's unanimous choice as our Student Service Award recipient. Although Danielle is quiet and unassuming, she is characterized at school by her hard work, positive attitude, and commitment to serving others. She has maintained a solid academic performance, having a GPA of 3.7 while being involved in the service-oriented programs at YRA. Danielle is a 3-year member of the Key Club and has been actively involved in all of the service projects with that group, including UNICEF, Trick or Treat, Pennies for Patients, fundraising activities in the school, and the very important Adopt a Military Family for the holidays through the USO. Danielle is the backbone of the Key Club and is always dependable. Danielle has been an active member of the YRA Greenhouse team for 2 years. During that time, she has worked with hundreds of elementary students in grades K through 5. She always has a smile on her face and takes time to let them get to know the young students she works with. Danielle actively volunteers for greenhouse tasks both inside and outside the building. Her wonderful character always shines through as she shows great patience with the elementary students, and she also gets to practice with her own siblings. Danielle is dedicated to completing whatever task is at hand to support student learning for the betterment of the team. We are pleased to commend to the community Danielle as our Student Service Award recipient for York River Academy. Congratulations.
And next, we have our Community Volunteers of the Month, and Ms. Haywood.
I do. I have Bethel Manor Elementary School. If Diane Herbert will come forward with Principal Dr. David Wright. Each year, every school in YCSD has the privilege of honoring a person who has gone above and beyond to make a contribution to our schools. Volunteers are the heart and soul of Bethel Manor Elementary School and are an integral part to the success of our students. This year, our Volunteer of the Month is Diane Herbert. Diane is a retired teacher from YCSD and WJCC. Her love for nature, gardening, overall aesthetics, and curb appeal is evident in the countless hours she spends in the Bethel Manor courtyard and flower beds surrounding the school. If you have never visited Bethel Manor courtyard, it is truly nature's paradise. Due to Diane's efforts, students are able to enjoy the lifestyle or the life cycle of butterflies, feeding the birds, flowers, and tree identifications, along with eating lunch or enjoying a good book surrounded by nature. Also, Diane totes the distinction of being a certified master gardener. A recent example of Diane's dedication was during the past hurricane threat. When the governor enacted a state of emergency, Diane was at Bethel Manor. She was at the doors making sure that the caterpillars in the school would be safe if a hurricane hit. She also does school grounds cleanup and utilizes the military to help prune trees, pick weeds, and plant flowers. Even during the hot and humid summer days, Diane can be found in our courtyard working and making sure things are watered and nature is fed. There have been times when she has been asked to come in and get a drink of water during those hot summer days. Her dedication is insurmountable, no matter the temperature or weather condition. Beyond working in the courtyard and gardens, Diane resurfaces her teaching talents by providing classroom lessons on life cycles, respecting nature, and exposing students to all that nature provides in a garden. Her dedication to the community is not limited to just Bethel Manor, as Diane spends many countless hours volunteering at the Animal Aid Society, helping assist with the adoption of surrendered dogs. Diane Herbert is a tree planted firmly in the Bethel Manor community, and she provides nourishment and dedication daily by her countless hours of volunteering. In fact, she has over 200 volunteer hours at Bethel Manor this year and has volunteered at Bethel Manor for close to 10 years. She is a butterfly whose smile and beauty is immeasurable. Everyone at Bethel Manor wants to thank her for her dedication and willingness in making Bethel Manor such a great place to grow. Please join me in congratulating Diane Herbert as being the Volunteer of the Month.
Wonderful. So the next Volunteer of the Month is from York River Academy. There's actually two. If I could have Barb Dunbar and Jody Turner come forward with Mr. Walt Cross. You go. Barb Dunbar and Jody Turner are both master gardeners and serve through the Virginia Cooperative Extension. Barb and Jody have been actively involved in supporting authentic outdoor environmental education at York River Academy for the past 3 years. During this time, they have been an integral part in providing a truly meaningful learning experience to our students and school community. These learning experiences include the opportunity to raise, tag, and release monarch butterflies, build and plant a Virginia native outdoor habitat, and connect our school with various community members to expand our educational endeavors. One of the most notable and recent connections include a partnership with the Colonial Soil and Water Conservation, where YRA was provided with a grant and student-led project to design a solar panel installation. Barb and Jody have also helped YRA recycle plastic grocery bags to earn a bench made from those recycled bags from Trex. They have also reached out to other master naturalists in the area to provide and support for other specific learning activities. Barb and Jody have been an asset to YRA in their ability to provide these experiences and educate students on the importance of plants and their native ecosystems. In addition to their knowledge, they bring with them an infectious excitement and true passion for what they do, both in nature and in the classroom. The YRA greenhouse team has especially benefited from their bountiful knowledge of plants and gardening. Barb and Jody are an important piece of the YRA puzzle by helping to make a positive impact on our community and our ecosystem. Congratulations. And I'd just like to comment that Greenhouse is a teaching area for some of our younger students from some of the elementary schools. So they're teaching our older students who are teaching our younger students. So what a wonderful program that is there. So now we're going to move into our York Foundation for Public Education. And Ms. Haywood, you have comments?
As I call your name, if you will come forward, please. Sophia from Bethel Manor for leading us in Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's Student Service Award recipients, Jayla from Bethel Manor and Danielle from York River. To our seniors of the month, Jonah from Bruton, Nathan from Grafton, Janae from Tabb, and Allison from York High School. Special gifts from Cookie Tex and Edible Tweet are being presented on behalf of the York Foundation for Public Education. In partnership with Jeannie Fioca of Cookie Tex and Edible Tweet, a Walmart gift card is also being presented by a foundation donor. And presenting the gifts this evening, Christina Head, who is a foundation member. Congratulations to each of you. Thank you.
And now we're going to move into a part of our program that's Accent on Academics. So I'm going to ask that Dr. Shandor please share some information about tonight's Accent on Academics.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Good evening, board members. For this evening's Accent on Academics, Grafton Middle School will be presenting Transformation Math Project 6.0. This month focuses on transformative math projects. The projects presented are two examples of how students use math and technology to enhance the climate at Grafton Middle School. Ms. Tiana Anthony, principal, will now introduce tonight's presenters. Ms. Anthony.
Good evening, everyone. Hello. When I became the principal at Grafton Middle School on January 2nd this year, Accent on Academics project was already underway, but it wasn't completed quite yet because the team had a few finishing touches that they wanted to add to the project. And I'm so glad that they did because I had the opportunity to meet my teacher, Mr. Neely. He has a wonderful sense of humor, and we became very close during this time, this month, preparing for the project. And I got to meet some wonderful students, and they are here to present tonight's project. So will everyone come on up? Mr. Neely?
Good evening. I'm Bob Neely. I'm a math teacher at Grafton Middle School. As math teachers, we want our students to think critically, we want them to problem solve, and we want them to collaborate to find solutions to daily problems. In this project, we challenged the students to examine a part of their daily experience at GMS and make recommendations on how the student life could be improved. So tonight, you're going to see 6 students with 2 different projects, and they are looking at 2 different aspects of their daily life. And they've researched it, they've collaborated, they've come up with some solutions, and they've used math and technology to support their findings. So I give you the first group.
My name is Helen.
My name is Ton.
And my name is Bohyun.
We are doing an atrium renovation project. This is our atrium currently. It is a large open space with lots of sunlight. During the day, it is used for class changing, certain PE units, and some teachers will use this space for lessons. But it is still underutilized. We would like to renovate this space to be more functional for the students and staff of GMS. Some of the suggestions we would like to renovate this space would be implement more flexible learning spaces to accommodate the latest technology and student needs, to incorporate more modern furniture,
and reach more spatial needs for the students and staff. Art classes could also paint murals to enhance school spirit and be a location for additional after-school clubs, cooperative groups and peer tutoring, and a multi-learning space for student and staff presentations. Some of the sample furniture that we would use to renovate would be cube seats, whiteboards, sofa sets, and some tables. Our total will come out to be about $3,000.
For our vision, we were hoping for a modern look in our new atrium in the future. For example, multiple chairs and tables for students to use for work or lessons that could be taught. Overall, we would hope to have a modern look in our future atrium for the GMS community. For our recommendations, we should renovate the atrium because it is cost-effective, students could benefit from large, comfortable, and interactive place to learn, and it is also a large multi-use space that can meet the expanding needs of the community, parents, and students. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We may now present to you the perfect parent pickup.
I am Zachary. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Morgan.
This is our presentation, Perfect Parent Pickup.
This is our typical day at parent pickup. The line is always long and it never moves. It usually catches buses up, so it delays the buses being able to drop off students to go to the classes and just holds every part of the students up.
So some opportunities for change are the lengthy traffic lines and the delays on bus operation. So our driving question is, what would redesigning the parent pickup and drop-off traffic patterns, and would it improve the efficiency for students and parents?
So this is our current traffic pattern for parent pickup. So it is a one-way path that you come in off of 17 into the loop. It just starts getting packed after there's just a lot of people that do parent pickup. So once a lot of cars start coming in and how early cars start to park before they can let their kids in, it just starts to jam everything together. And no one ever goes that fast in there.
They throw you out the window if they went that fast.
So some reasons why parents use it is because it's a transportation preference. It saves parents travel time. It could accommodate for parents' work schedule. It also could be more convenient for them. And some students have extracurricular activities that they need parents to pick up them from.
So these are the solutions that we have come up with. Have parent pickup and drop off at the back of the complex, add a sidewalk to the new parent pickup area, and allow parents to drop off students earlier at 7:40 a.m.
So this is our solution for the new parent pickup and drop-off line. So at the loop where the line is now, that is where the parents will exit instead. And so this would mean that the loop will now become the bus drop-off for students with disabilities. And this is where the new sidewalk will go for parents to drop off and pick up their kids and make it more safe for the students. And the students will access the school through the rear gym at the back of the school. And so this is the parent drop-off and pickup path of travel. So they will come around the high school side and go around the back of the school and drop off their kids or pick them up and proceed around the middle school and out through the loop and back onto 17.
So it is about $800 to put in the sidewalk. It's about $140 for the do not enter sign. It's about $30 for the one-way traffic sign. It's about $100 for the road arrow stencils, and the estimate total comes out to about $1,000.
So some benefits by doing it would improve the traffic flow by reducing congestion at the intersection. It would decrease the backup of traffic to Route 17. It would improve on-time arrival for buses and save drop-off time and pickup for parents, and it would enhance safety for all the students and the parents and everyone.
Thank you for listening to our presentations. Now we will take any questions for both the presentations, and we will answer them to the best of our ability.
Dr. James, did you get all that?
Yeah, I was going to turn to Dr. James.
Can you come?
Bowen, do we have money?
We got $1,000.
I'm thinking about putting them on the CIP committee,
Yeah, no
capital
kidding.
improvement, Dr. James, and absolutely. Y'all did a
That's great.
fabulous job
Yeah.
thinking outside the box and, solution-oriented thinking. It's just, and then using the math and just bringing to life what you do in the classroom, in the real life, what happens out there in the real world. Y'all did a fabulous job, so congratulations to both groups.
Thank you.
I've got a couple of questions for both groups. So the transportation group, so I'm familiar with Grafton. My son goes there. So according to your plan, you're going to have parents turning left and going around like this to drop off in the back, and then coming around like this. So how are you addressing that little congestion area here? Because you're going to have parents turning left to go to the back of the school, and then parents turning left to get back out of the complex. Yeah.
To your proposal. There.
So by doing this, so instead of everybody in this one crowded area, we are spreading around the entire school. So there will be more gaps in between when parents are coming in, and when they will be dropping off. So it will be easier for them to leave the school. So it will be less. So there will be more spaces when they exit the complex.
Okay. So that student access in the back, isn't that a locker room area up on the second floor? Or, what does that go to?
That's the gym.
That is a pathway that it leads onto the hallway.
Okay.
And that hallway connects to the cafeteria.
Okay.
So just go right through the hallway and go to the cafeteria where the kids normally sit
Okay.
when they wait for their parents.
And also, one of the staff could also be assigned as one of their duty stations to be there as well.
Is that closed off? I mean, so you go into the door, is there another door on the other end of the hallway there?
No, it's just
No?
that door.
Okay. For the first group. So I like the idea. I'm interested in how you're going to use the two whiteboards, though. What was your plan for those?
So in our atrium, there are white walls that are just kind of, let me, hold on. Is it working? So as you can see, the white walls that we have, we were planning on having the whiteboards either to be on this side or the other side of the whiteboard.
On the walls?
On the walls, yes.
On the walls?
Yes.
Have you considered, maybe instead of whiteboards, getting whiteboard paint to paint the walls so your walls turn into a whiteboard? And you can just mark up on the board. You have a lot more space for more collaboration because of the student population at Grafton Middle versus having just two small whiteboards. Would you consider that maybe?
Yes, we would.
Okay.
Yes, Ms. Haywood.
I guess my question is probably to, is this the first that you've presented these two ideas outside of Grafton Middle?
Yes, we have.
Okay,
Yes.
so your next step would be to share them. Thank you for sharing them with us, but I would like to find out how Dr. Shandor, just from staff, looking at these, and it's something that we can work with them to look at, to say, I don't know how you do your bus loop of people involved with that. Is that the best way to do it?
We're certainly open to
Yeah,
suggestions.
so I would say,
However, I do know that Miss Anthony loves standing out there in the morning with all the parents. She told me that's one of her favorite duties that she has at the school. I absolutely love both presentations, guys.
Yeah.
You did a wonderful job. Mr. Neely, great job with solving a real-world problem. We've had conversations about this open space for a few years, and I
Okay.
agree with you. We should do something with that space so that it's more useful for kids. I love the ideas,
So we can see
and
where it
you know, the bus loop itself, I'll have to defer to the expert sitting over there, Dr. James, for some assistance, but you guys did a wonderful job.
Okay, thank
Dr.
you.
Shandor, maybe we can refer the traffic to Captain Hahn back there. He can worry about, yeah.
Before we let you sit down, I'd just like to say also, great bang-up job. That area that you're talking about, that space is certainly underutilized, as a comment I made to Dr. Shandor during one of our tours about a year or so ago. So it was great to see that y'all took up that as a experience to look at. And also the traffic, that's at all of our schools. We have a lot of parents that drop off, so great job, great job. Thank you so much. All right, now we're getting ready to kick off Read Across America, so I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Shandor to share comments.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. So Ms. Carol Bauer, she's going to come forward. This is her annual opportunity to have us put these hats on.
I'm so proud of you all. Yay.
So she's a teacher
Oh,
from
yeah, Mark.
she's a teacher from Grafton Bethel Elementary School. Students are here from Yorktown Elementary and York River Academy. They're now going to come forward and share information pertaining to Read Across America.
Great. Well, you guys look great in those hats, by the way. And don't these students look great in their hats there?
I do.
Yeah. Tonight, I'm excited to stand before you to introduce students from Yorktown Elementary School. Their school has been focusing on reading in a marvelous way with the help of April Inslee, their librarian. Their principal, Kelly Denny, and reading teachers have supported Read Across America for many years. So tonight, we have Naraya, Alexis, Chloe, Alora, and they'll be joined by Danielle and Keone from York River Academy to tell us just a little bit more about NEA's Read Across America.
Good evening, York County School Board and staff, for recognizing the National Education Association Read Across America, a program that encourages caring adults to read in our schools. After all, you're never too old, too wacky, or too wild to pick up a book and read with a child. York County has celebrated reading and Read Across America in many ways over the last 22 years. There are a lot of diverse stories to share with our students.
I want to encourage you to read books with different heroes and heroines, different situations and different cultures. You can even read silly books that make you laugh and wonder, like, do not lick this book. It is about small things that live on our bodies, so don't lick yourself either.
All right, good job.
Mahala dreamed of having a magic pencil, and she made her pencil magic in the end. It made me feel happy. I felt sad because Mahala's friends had to leave school. I felt happy when Mahala used her magic pencil to help.
My mom liked Mariah Carey, but she changed the first. Wait. My mom liked Mariah Carey, but she changed the first letter to N to make it special. My name's Soraya. I love to dance.
Diversity in books is important because it is what makes people understand other viewpoints and histories. It teaches you that we are not the only culture on earth. There is always enough room for new ideas and to learn how to make our deeds count every day. Read Across America's November's book is about Chester Nez Navajo Indian who used his native language to help America's fight to victory in World War II.
Calling all parents and volunteers. York County Schools need your help to meet their goal of inviting 100 volunteers to read with students at every school. So here's what we want you to do. Call your local school to volunteer to read and make your plans now to...
Everybody together?
Read with a child.
All right.
Great job. Thank you, Ms. Bauer, and all the students that presented, and really appreciate that. So we're going to take a short recess to meet tonight's award recipients and to take a few photographs. We're going to get rid of the hats, though. Thank you. Okay, we're now going to reconvene the meeting. And we're going to start with unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? Okay. So we're going to go into, we have no presentations this evening, so we're going to go into citizen comments. And I'm going to open public participation at board meetings. And I don't see that anyone has signed up for that one. They've signed up, we have a couple people signed up for the public forum for the operating budget, but no one has signed up to speak for the citizen comment period. So I'm going to close the citizen comment period. And next, we're going to move into the forum on the public forum on the FY20 operating budget. But Dr. Shandor, you have some comments beforehand?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson, board members. I'm going to ask Mr. Bowen if he'll please come to the podium. He is going to share just some brief information related to the FY20 operating budget. Mr. Bowen.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor, members of the board, Mr. Richardson, members of the board. This evening is our public forum on the FY20 operating budget. We have this opportunity, we invite the public to come forward and share their thoughts and comments on our budget process. To date, I'd just like to share where we are and how far we've come. We've had 4 community budget meetings. We've received input from our schools, from our principals, from our directors, and from the executive staff. The superintendent and staff are currently working on finalizing his proposed budget, which will be presented next Monday night, February 4th. The superintendent's budget will be based on the governor's budget. But as you know, the General Assembly is in session right now, and they are considering a number of amendments to the governor's budget. So once the state completes its work and we have a final state budget, we will incorporate any changes into a final budget document, which we will bring back to the board later in the spring. And those are my comments this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
All right, we're going to open up the public forum on the operating budget, and we have 2 people signed up to speak. The first one is Carol Bauer, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak if you state your name and address, and after that, the time will start. Okay.
Good evening, Carol Bauer, reside at 314 Brook Lane, Yorktown, Virginia. Well, good evening. Today has been a busy day for many educators, parents, and students across the Commonwealth. Thousands of us were in Richmond marching and rallying for public education. It was powerful. It was exciting. We raised our voices. I lost my voice. And on the steps of the Capitol building. During our rally, we learned that the House approved a 5% raise for teacher salaries, which is great news. So as you prepare your budget for York County Schools, please keep in mind your loyal and dedicated teachers who have been with York County for 30 years or more. And they're at the top of the scale. Please keep in mind, we have not recovered from the years of frozen steps, and we still have compressed steps. Please keep in mind that our paras, custodians, and bus drivers all deserve a living wage. I know that Dr. Shandor has made compensation a priority, but Virginia ranks 34th in teacher salaries. And when you look at teachers at the top of the scale, the gap is even larger. Today, on the steps of the Capitol, the superintendent for Fauquier Schools, Dr. David Jeck, said it well. Virginia's teachers are not average. We are outstanding, and we deserve not to have to work 2 or 3 jobs. Forbes ranks Virginia schools in the top 5, and yet we rank 42nd in school spending. I know, and you know, we can do better. I know that you can do better with York County Schools.
Thank you, Ms. Bauer. All right, our next speaker, the last speaker we have is Katie Rutherford. If you could come forward and state your name and address, please.
Good evening, Mr. Richardson, Dr. George, members of the school board, and Dr. Shandor. My name is Katie Rutherford, and I am the York Education Association's current president. I live at 107 Gretna Way in Newport News. As you look at the YCSD budget this year, YEA would strongly urge you to consider the wages of our education support professionals. Our paraeducators, our bus drivers, our custodians, and our clerical staff work hard on a daily basis for our students, our faculties, and our buildings. Yet their wages lag behind the local living wage. One of YEA's goals for the next few budget cycles is to look at how to increase compensation for all of our ESPs to a living wage which they so richly deserve. Today, as Carol Bauer mentioned, YEA members met with our local legislators at the Virginia General Assembly, focusing on 3 amendments to the Virginia budget. One of these amendments is to raise the overall funding from the General Assembly to K-12 education across the Commonwealth. If that amendment passes, funds to YCSD from the Commonwealth would increase. That increase could aid in finding compensation dollars for our ESP staff. Please consider calling or writing our local General Assembly legislators this week to tell them you support those amendments to the budget to increase K-12 funding across the Commonwealth. Our ESPs and our students richly deserve it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rutherford. And seeing and hearing that there's no one else signed up to speak for the public hearing, I'm going to close this public forum. And next, we're going to move into matters of board members. But before I do that, we have a scout that's in the audience, and I always like to recognize our scouts that come in from our community. Not sure, what troop are you with? I think I have it here. Okay. So it's Jonah Hutchinson, Troop 84, and he's working on his citizenship and the community badge. So what rank are you right now?
Right now, I'm a Life Scout.
Okay. Perfect. 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 All right. Well, thank you for being here. We'd love to have you. So enjoy with the rest of the meeting that you get to hear and work on your citizenship badge. So thank you. All right. Give a big hand. So we're going to move into matters by board members. I'm going to start with Dr. George.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Hope everybody's doing well this evening. A couple of highlights from the past month. We had the science fair, which was once again extremely successful. Mr. Richardson and I were there to hand out the awards, and it was a lengthy process, which is always a good sign. And my understanding is also that the attendance was pretty much on par with last year. It certainly wasn't less. So that's encouraging. We don't want that to fall off. So we're keeping these kids engaged and interested in doing that for sure. Also had a chance to visit a couple of schools this past week or so. One was Tabb Elementary School, and I tell you, I don't know if you've had a chance to see the renovation at Tabb, but very impressive. Mary Lugo did a great job escorting us around. Just many features there. That school it's like a brand new school. It truly is. And one thing I thought, it's a really simple concept, but was really neat. They have these little sensory pathways, I think they call them. So every X number of feet in the hallways, you'll have maybe a little hopscotch thing where you can go and you do your little hopscotch. They have one where you twirl around. They have one where you look like you're playing football and you're shuffling your feet, and it's great for the kids and the teachers. And to watch. I did them, didn't I, Vic?
Maybe.
Hey, but it's just really neat. The excitement in that school is really neat, and so just little things like that make a difference. But great job on that school. So if you get a chance to take a look at that, make sure you do so. We also visited Bethel Manor. Chrissy Wagner and Dr. Wright's showed us around, and it was just a great opportunity to see that school too. Like many of us, we remember that school from the old days, and total facelift. That school, it's just a unique school, just like the little girl that helped us with one of the award winners. Her dad is deployed. It's pretty much the entire situation at that school. So there are unique challenges. There are uniquely qualified people that work there to deal with that, and we just love that school and all that they do, and I commend them. Hats go off to them. Was also able to see the third annual Ignite Tiger Talks. Basically, that's at Tab High School. Jackie Malone, it's her project. They take 12th graders and they ask them to come up with a topic that they've learned over their 12 years in school, and they have 5 minutes and 20 slides to kind of convey that to you and convey something, a way that they could influence change or give back to the community. And it's really pretty neat. Every 15 seconds, that slide changes whether they want it to or not. So these kids are really nervous, but what a learning experience. And I think the hope is that some of these interests will develop into passions that they'll take with them throughout life. So that was a nice opportunity to once again see that. On a more somber note, we lost a couple of recent graduates this past couple of weeks. And Mr. Kyle Jensen, I did not know, York High School graduate, but certainly our hearts and prayers go out to the family of him. Ryan Taylor from Tab High School, I did know. And friend of my kids, friend of just about every kid at Tab High School. Sweet, sweet boy. His mother actually got up and spoke at the service on Friday, and I spoke with her today, and she wanted me to talk about just a couple of things that she's passionate about. And basically, in a nutshell, the first one is depression and anxiety, how there's help out there for that. Don't be afraid to get the help. Ryan had depression, he had anxiety. He did not take his life, but he had depression, he had anxiety, and because of that, he turned to drugs to deal with that. So the second point is no drugs are safe. I don't care if they're prescription. If they're not coming from the pharmacist, they're not safe. He got a drug. It was laced with most likely fentanyl, they don't know, and it killed him instantly. So very, very tragic. And the best that we can do is to try to learn some lessons out of that. And so once again, depression, anxiety, there's people out there to help. There's people there to help. And second, stay away from drugs. No drug is safe. I don't care how benign you think that drug is. So prayers go out to both of those families. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. George. Ms. Haywood?
It's hard to come behind Dr. George on that, other than to say our sympathy to both families. My activity since we met last, there was a York Foundation Board meeting last Thursday, and there was fantastic topics that were discussed. I know between Catherine Golf and myself, we'll be talking to Dr. Shandor about some of the things that we can do to help out the foundation. And the other activity was the NAACP AXO Award that was mentioned earlier with Janae, the young lady from Tab High that received the award, one of the awards. Our students are outstanding. Just look at their accomplishments, what they want to do in the future. We're in good hands. But it was a fantastic opportunity. Sorry that you all, I was at the table with Dr. Shander, but sorry that you all couldn't join us, but it was a fantastic afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Haywood. Mr. Medford?
I don't have any comments for tonight. I'm going to do mine with the financial matters.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Medford. Mr. Anderson?
Well, compared to previous months, my month was relatively slow. I did attend the science fair, which was always great to see the minds of the students at work. Of course, I visited my home school of Coventry, was excited with what's going on there. I think Ms. Horton is doing a great job there as AP. She's got some really good ideas. And sat down with I attended the county-wide PTA meeting with PTA officers from all of the schools. It's always interesting to see how they're dealing with, the lack of membership and the lack of participation from the parents, ideas for fundraising and things like that, and just to see how they come together and collaborate and share ideas to help each other with attendance issues and fundraising, for example, just shows me that, we're in great hands academically, but on the PTA side, we're in great hands there as well. So that was just a great meeting. And other than that, I will announce tonight that I am running for re-election in November, and my motto will be people before politics, which means I will put my differences aside with other members of this board, other members in this district, and operate under one question: is what we're doing or what we are approving what's best for the students? And so that's how I'm going to approach this coming election year, but I wanted to go ahead and announce that publicly. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. And next, I'll share just a few remarks. The Science Fair was a wonderful event, as it is every year. No need to echo that anymore. Read Across America is coming up, so if you have the time to volunteer to read, please do that. I've already have a couple schools I've signed up for and hope to maybe do a couple more. I'm sure I can. So I'm going to try to do that. And then in March, we have the Future Chefs Competition. Sodexo will be doing again. That was a great time I had last year. I was glad I did it, and I'm looking forward to doing that again. But I would also like to announce my bid for re-election. I'm going to be seeking re-election to District 4 again, and I think anybody that runs for school board, we're in it for the kids. We're in it for the students and everybody here, but we certainly have to look out for our teachers, our administrators, and our community. But with that, I'm going to wrap that up, and we're going to move ahead and do financial matters. So, Mr. Medford.
Yes, we got quite a few of those. Significant payments for the month of December, and this will include a comprehensive list of things. Instructional-related expenditures totaled approximately $1.37 million and included payments to New Horizons, $1.35 million for tuition for special education, career tech, and governor's school, and the To Teach, which is $25,300 for professional development and on-site coaching. Payments for technology-related items totaled approximately $32,300 and included payments to the Virginia Business Systems for leased copiers. Payments related to administration totaled approximately $14,500 and included a payment to Virginia Court for quarterly workman's comp claims. Payment related to food service totaled approximately $635,000 and included payments to Sodexo for $614,000 for October and November food service cost, and Tyson's Food for $20,700 for supplies. Payments related to construction and maintenance projects totaled about $55,250. That included Centennial Contracting for the security vestibule at Bruton High School. Significant changes related to the operating budget for revenues. There weren't any based on local revenues, but the state revenues through December of 2018 are about $1.44 million higher than compared to last year this time. This trend will continue throughout the year as a result of the state funding increase we had in FY19 and increased student enrollment. State sales tax revenues through December of last year is about $114,000, less than December of 2017. This is due to timing in which state transfers to the school divisions were made. The federal revenue, though, in December 2018 is up by more than $6.3 million than from the December previous. This increase is due to several large payments of impact aid coming in, and they differ from month to month. For expenditures, technology expenditures about $779,000 higher in this past December than the year previous. Many of the license and service agreements were renewed earlier in FY19. For the food service budget, revenues and expenditures. Local revenues for food service through December of 2018 are about $76,000 less than the year previous. Sometimes we would ask or question that, but this is attributed to the fact that school closures and inclement weather during September and October generated that shortage there. Federal revenue through December 2018 is $41,000 less than in December of the year previous as a result of timing of federal reimbursements. We have a resolution before us, which is Resolution 19-02. Two items are on it. One is for the Special Education Service Delivery Model Program for $156,817. And the second one is to modify the previous resolution for door and hardware replacement York High for an additional work totaling $44,957. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve all financial matters as listed.
Okay, there's a second. So are there any further questions? No further questions. Board members should be able to record their vote momentarily.
I'm not sure if it's going to work.
Yeah, it's on.
Yes.
Is it working?
Yes, it
Did Mr. Anderson do the second? Did Mr. Anderson do the second?
He did the second.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, a motion was made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mr. Anderson to approve financial matters as listed. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
And Mr. Richardson?
Yes. All right, next we're going to move into consent calendar, and is there anything that needs to be pulled from the consent calendar before I go over it briefly? We've had a chance to read over it. So we have the approval of personnel actions, approval of donations in the amount of $553, the approval of the FY 19 through 23 Educational Technology Plan, and approval of minutes for a special meeting and work session on November 5th, 2018, regular meeting on November 19th, 2018, and a special meeting on November 28th, 2018. Approval of a motion to authorize the superintendent to execute an agreement for communication systems to include cable, CATV, CCTV, and Intercom PA with SHIT Communications, and approval of consent calendar is listed. Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar?
I move motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Are there any questions? Okay, Ms. Ford, is the tally working?
Yes, a motion was made by Dr. George and seconded by Mrs. Haywood to approve the consent calendar as listed. Okay, the motion passed 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. So now we're going to move into our action items, and we have the approval of proclamation for Career and Technical Education Month, February 9th of 2019, and Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Career and Technical Education Month underscores the value of programs and classes in preparing our students for careers of today and the future. We are thankful for our YCSD teachers, business community, and partner programs that provide high-quality instruction in this area. We have over 150 students in career mentorships at various businesses throughout the county.
Okay, is there a motion and a second to approve the proclamation?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Ford.
Okay. A motion was made by Mr. Anderson and seconded by Mrs. Haywood to approve the Career and Technical Education Month, February 2019. And you may cast your vote. Okay, and the motion passed 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Next, we have approval of a proclamation for National School Counseling Week, February 4th through 8th of 2019. Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. The first week in February is traditionally designated as National School Counseling Week to focus attention on the many specialized contributions school counselors make to our schools. Comprehensive school counseling programs address students' academic and social welfare, provide much-needed resources for students, parents, teachers, and administrators, which ultimately support student achievement. We have an amazing team of school counselors in YCSD. We appreciate each one of them for their many contributions they make to our school division. We have 24 secondary counselors and 10 elementary counselors that do a fantastic job.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Shandor. So I need a motion and a second to approve the proclamation for National School Counseling Week, February 4 through 8 of 2019.
I move motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, a motion was made by Dr. George and seconded by Mr. Medford to approve National Counseling Week, February 4th through 8th. Motion is passed 5-0. Thank you.
Wonderful. Now we have the proclamation for Read Across America Day, March 1st, 2019, the one that we had the presentation on tonight. Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. As Ms. Bauer shared earlier this evening, March 1st is Read Across America Day in celebration of Dr. Seuss' birthday, which promotes reading and adult involvement in education throughout the school division. We encourage our staff members to go out into our schools and read to our students as a way to recognize this important event and to engage with our students.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor. So is there a motion and a second for the proclamation for Read Across America Day, March 1st, 2019?
Move approval.
Ms. Ward.
Okay, a motion was made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Mr. Anderson to approve a proclamation for Read Across America Day, March 1st, 2019. Able to vote?
It's not correct, is it?
Not yet.
Okay, Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
And Mr. Richardson?
Yes. So just to explain, on our new board doc software, we're attempting to do the software and do the votes electronically, which are behind us. Sometimes we're having some issues with it sometimes because this is still fairly new. So bear with us. When we can't do it, we'll do the voice call out. So we'll make it work. So next we have the approval for Resolution 19-03 for the County School Board of York County, Virginia, to approve the Division Superintendent's Fiscal Year 2020 Capital Improvements Program. So Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. If you recall at the last work session, Mr. Bowen and I presented some modifications to the earlier version of the CIP for FY20. I'll turn it over to Mr. Bowen.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor, Mr. Richardson, members of the board. The resolution this evening is the board approving the fiscal year 20 of the superintendent's proposed CIP. The basis for this document was the facilities master's plan that was presented to the board at the November work session. At the December work session, we presented the CIP all 6 years, and we followed that up with a public hearing at the December business meeting. We have, as you know, we have a CIP committee that meets weekly, and after the public hearing, through continued meetings with the CIP committee and continued conversations with the county, there were several changes that we made. As Dr. Shandor mentioned, we presented those at the January work session. Those changes were for the out years, 21 through 25. They don't impact the decision that we're making tonight, which is the approval of the FY20 spending. So I did provide you this evening with a copy of the revised CIP, which you should have in front of you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions? If there are none, is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
Second.
Ms. Ford?
Okay, a motion was made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Dr. George to approve Resolution 1903.
There it is.
Okay, and the motion passed 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Next, we're going to move into approval of Resolution 19-07, the resolution requesting the Board of Supervisors to issue general obligation school bonds for the school purposes and consenting to the issuance thereof. So, Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. I'll turn it over to Mr. Bowen.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor.
All
Mr. Richardson, members of the board, this evening we have another resolution. This is for a resolution consenting to the issuance of the general obligation bonds for school purposes. This is something that we bring to the board every year, and it's the first step in the process for the county to then go out and obtain the debt for the school projects. So once this is passed, this will be sent to the Board of Supervisors, where they'll pass a similar resolution, and that will commence the process for borrowing.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
All right. Is there any questions?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Good. Back to action item A, approval of proclamation for Career and Technical Education Month. I think it's a good time to just say this past month's New Horizon meeting, you know, every year they have the Signers Day, and last year, help me, Vic, was it 35?
Yes.
We had 35 last year, so that means 35 kids on the spot got jobs from folks like Liebherr, Newport Shipbuilding, just wonderful jobs. This year, we're on track for 75 with the push that we're implementing. So it's pretty exciting stuff. So I just thought that's a good time to insert that. Thank you.
So is there a motion and a second to approve the resolution to issue the general obligation school bonds for school purposes?
I move motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Ford?
Okay. A motion was made by Dr. George and seconded by Mr. Medford to approve Resolution 1907. Okay, and the motion passed 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. For policy discussions, we have none. For policy first readings, we have none. But for policy second readings, we have an action, approval of the second reading of the quadrennial review of Section D, Fiscal Management section of the York County School Board Policy Manual. So Dr. Shandor, would you share information?
Yeah, there's no further changes to this policy since the last time you.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion and a second to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, a motion was made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mrs. Haywood to approve the second reading of Policy D. Okay, and the motion has passed 5-0. Thank you.
Okay, we've just about completed all our business for this evening. Now we're going to turn it over to the report of the superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Just a few items this evening. As Ms. Haywood indicated earlier, I attended again, the 30th annual Martin Luther King Jr. NAACP AXA Luncheon. Awesome event that they have every year up there. And again, Janae was here earlier as a recipient of one of the awards for Tab High School, but we had a number of our students recognized at that event. I certainly enjoy attending that event each year. We also approved a proclamation this evening pertaining to Read Across America. In the celebration of Dr. Seuss's 115th birthday, I encourage all of our board members and executive staff and others at the school board office to please get in the schools. The kids love it when you go in there. It's a wonderful opportunity to connect with our kids. Just be careful. Sometimes the teachers will sabotage you with a book that you may have difficulty reading at some points, depending on what language it's in. I also wanted to add that Mr. Bowen and I attended the PTA meeting earlier this month as well. They ask us each year to come to present some information that we have on the budget. So Mr. Bowen and I shared at that point in time where we were with what we were thinking, where we were at with the state and local contributions. So we provided some information to them. Also, we have an Aspiring Leaders program that has been working. They've been working on that throughout this school year. So we have a group of 13 of our leaders in the division who are receiving a lot of training and professional development from Ms. Candy Skinner, our Director of Elementary School, as well as Associate Director Christina Head. They've done a wonderful job leading around the book Leadership Challenge, which is immersed in research, obviously, on leadership. They've done a great job. I'm super proud of Ms. Head and Ms. Skinner for leading and taking this on, but I'm really impressed with the leaders that we have in this program. In fact, Tiana Anthony, who was here this evening, was in that program earlier this year. So the goal is to provide a lot of support and training for our up-and-coming leaders. And then in closing, I want to mention that last week was Virginia's School Principals Week. Once again, I want to thank all of our principals for everything they do every day. We are really, really fortunate in York County to have 19 strong principals that always do what's in the best interest of kids and do a wonderful job of motivating their staff members and creating a culture that everyone wants to thrive in. So I certainly appreciate all their work. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor, for that informative report there. We appreciate that. So we'll be back for our next work session on Monday, February 4th. That's a little earlier than we normally do, and that's February 4th, 2019 at 6 p.m. So enjoy your last week of January, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.